The correct way is pilgrimage with a permit, which is the title of a national campaign calling pilgrims to take a permit for pilgrimage this year. With different options and different prices, the campaigns of pilgrimage are the first steps for pilgrims to the way to Mecca. Governmental agencies revitalize Mina in preparation for service of the guests of the God the Merciful. An annual honoration by the servant of the two shrines, hosting the parents, the families of martyrs of Palestine, of pilgrims. Central operation room in the pilgrim and Umrah halls have lots and tremendous roles of security and oversight. Our dearest viewers, peace be with you and His blessings. We meet with you again, our dearest viewers of Iqra Satellite Channel, through the pilgrimage news bulletin that we launch every year in order to explore and serve the news of pilgrims and pilgrimage and provide everything news about this great ritual. Welcome to you to this pilgrimage for the 1435 season. Our news. The correct way is the pilgrimage with permission, which is the title of a national campaign for raising awareness among the pilgrims with the inception of the pilgrimage season for this year in order to understand the correct way of the performance of a pilgrimage and also raising awareness and disseminating positive culture and behavior among the service providers and the pilgrims. Imad Fuad has more to cover. His Highness Prince Mishal bin Abdul Aziz, the head of the region of Mecca and the head of the Central Committee of Pilgrimage, with the beginning of this season, launched the national campaign for raising awareness among the guests of the Merciful in Mecca under the title "The Correct Way is the Pilgrimage with an Authorization and Permit." He emphasized the directives of the custodian of the two shrines in serving the guests of the God the Merciful, and that all sectors and agencies in this season are fully prepared for the pilgrims. He said that this campaign has focused on raising awareness on how to perform pilgrimage correctly and also raising awareness among the internal pilgrims on the conditions for those wishing to go on pilgrimage. Some notifications and notices are also provided for the safety and security and health issues in order to cut off and to reduce all negative behaviors and violations of pilgrimage measures. The campaign opened new channels for the message to be disseminated to all segments of the society and the pilgrims, whether they are nationals or residents. The event talked about the smartphone applications and production of mass media raising awareness campaigns and disseminating such videos all over the mass media, the print and audiovisual and journalism, and also on the signs on the roads and in the malls, and also the ports receiving the pilgrims in the airports and other ports, in addition to website applications and social media. Why are you sitting here? It's dark and you are mapping. We want to go pilgrimage without a permit, please. We have lots of crooked ways, but they are not in the interest of pilgrimage. I cannot understand you. Why pilgrimage without a permit? We have crowd people, and there is a danger for stampede. Lots of people would lead to fires and would lead to disasters. As far as I am concerned, I cannot arrive safely to rescue the patients. All of these problems happen just because of pilgrimage without a license. The right way is pilgrimage with permit. Raising awareness among the pilgrims on the safety and correct ways are very important for the step for pilgrimage. For Iqra channel, Imad Fuad from Mecca. We can talk about it in details, and we joined with us Ibn Abdullah al-Shihri. He is the spokesman of Mecca al-Mukarrama region. Welcome to you, Mr. Muhammad. Welcome to you too, and good evening to all of you, and good evening to all the viewers. First of all, this time the campaign comes with a different title from other seasons. What is different now? Now, first of all, the national campaign for raising awareness among the pilgrims has come under the title A Correct Way is Pilgrimage with a License. It focuses on raising awareness on the right way to perform pilgrimage and to raise awareness and disseminate the positive behaviors and conduct among people and reduce all negative, undesired acts, something like, for instance, staying on the street or getting to pilgrimage without a license, and also the fake campaigns for pilgrimage. Pilgrimage with a license, without a license, has lots of consequences, including reduction of the abilities and capabilities of the private and public sector organizations to apply their task correctly. So this title has come in order to organize and arrange for the whole pilgrimage. If we receive more crowds than the capacity that we have, it will cause a confusion to our plans. So this campaign aims at raising awareness among the pilgrims in the audiovisual and mass media and the new mass media also, in order to understand the negative consequences of pilgrimage without a license. What we notice through the mass media that are used, there is a kind of emphasis on drama, like dramatization of those pilgrims who come to pilgrimage without license, for instance, like being lost in the desert, or other consequences on that, including, for instance, the bad quality that will be given to them. So it seems to be that this time there is more focus rather than other seasons. Yes, my brother, the services given by the governmental agencies, all of them, aim at facilitating the pilgrimage of all people here and giving all that brings comfort to them. And all the ports leading to Mecca will not be lenient at all with those who violate the rules. What can be said to those people who want really to come on pilgrimage without a license or permit? I repeat, what can be said now? What can you say to people who want to go on pilgrimage without a license? I want to say him, pilgrimage is only with a license. That's all. His Highness Prince Mishal bin Abdullah, the Emir of Mecca region, made a tour for exploration in the Mecca and ritual sites. Can you talk about that? This tour comes in line with his interest, with the prince's interest in understanding and seeing every kind of details related to the service provided at the ritual sites, so that he can be comfortable in terms of the provision of all services to the pilgrims, so that they can perform their rituals in an easy way, in line with the directions of the custodian of these two shrines and his crown prince and the minister of interior. God protect them all. Mr. Muhammad bin Abdullah al-Shihri, the head of the mass media and social affairs and the spokesman of the region of Mecca, thank you very much for your intervention and all information. And we truly wish that this message, this sublime message, would be disseminated to all pilgrims all around the sites. Thank you very much. Our dearest viewers, we have another news now. This pilgrim comes after a very important event for the Saudi Arabia Kingdom, which is its 84th anniversary of the unification of the kingdom. Jeddah has always been a port for receiving the pilgrims to Saudi Arabia and is still doing that. And it has commemorated the anniversary by launching the highest pole of a flag, raising the flag of unification of God. Jeddah has always been the portal to the two shrines. It receives the pilgrims or Umrah people in parallel with the event of the National Day and receiving the pilgrims from the ports in the sea and in the airport. The National Day is a very special day, which is the 84th anniversary of the unification of Kingdom of Saudi Arabia by its founder. Now here on the square of the custodian of two shrines, in commemoration of this anniversary, the highest pole has been established, flying the flag of unification of God. There is no God except God, and Muhammad is his messenger. It is 172 meters high to become the first thing that receives the pilgrims. Surely, this flag is flown over this 172-meter high pole, which is the highest in the world at the moment. It is raising the flag of no God except God. In this city, Jeddah, it is the bride of the Red Sea. And this day, it coincides with the National Day commemorated by the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. It is really a day of happiness for us all. It is for the foundation of this kingdom that preserves the unification of God. And here we are also commemorating this day by raising the flag on the highest and tallest pole in the world here in Jeddah. This is something very beautiful and a source of pride for us as a Saudi people. It is a part of our dearest country. It is a part which is the unification of God. This pole started to be working with this pole started in 2012, and lots of technology were used in order to fly this flag, including the measurement of the speed and direction of wind, humidity and rain and other systems. This project is an initiative, and this is really a gift by Abdullah Jamil, the social charity, to the custodian of the two shrines and also to the Saudi Arabia people. It started in 2011. We started to launch the first pole, tallest pole in the world, and we used the shipyard square, which is the most vital square in Jeddah. And after getting the approval from the custodian of two shrines, it was named after his name. And lots of companies were recruited for that in Britain, in Tunisia, in America, and in cooperation with foreign companies in Saudi Arabia. With the thanks of God, we finished 2 months ago, and we were waiting. We could hardly wait for this day today to commemorate the National Day of Saudi Arabia and to launch it as the tallest pole, to introduce it in the Guinness records. The most prominent people who came in order to launch the pole is the representative of the Guinness standard, who officially declared that it is now the pole, the tallest in the world, breaking the record of Kazakhstan. This pole adds up to the monuments in Jeddah, but it also uniquely raises the unification of God. For Iqra Al-Hilali from Jeddah. The command of the security forces for pilgrimage has proclaimed and announced its preparedness in order to face up to all security threats and dangers in Mecca and the ritual sites. They also emphasize that they are able to effectively intervene in order to defend the security of the pilgrims. In the press conference for the commands of the security in pilgrimage in Mina, the forces of pilgrimage security said there are certain changes in the plans different from those in the past years that will, with the God willing, contribute to the protection of the guests of God the Merciful, and facilitate their movement inside Mecca and the ritual sites. The conference also provided details on the main landmarks of the security plans, also the organization and the field work, in addition also to the stages to be followed by the forces of Al-Umrah and pilgrimage forces in order to protect the safety and security of pilgrims. In another press conference held by the Civil Defense Directorate in the ritual site capital, the head of the forces of the civil defense, Abdullah Abed al-Skhairi, said the civil defense will also introduce new measures in order to penalize people who violate the security and safety through the special authority inside the civil defense related to pilgrimage. Several people and commanders of the civil defense also emphasized in the press conference that the plan shows the highest degree of preparedness in order to deal with the 12 possibilities of potential threats, including floods, including rains, earthquakes, collapse of buildings, fire, and leakage of chemical or nuclear material, or collective or mass poisoning among the pilgrims, God forbid. Our dearest viewers, the number of the pilgrims coming from outside the country for the pilgrimage until 27 of Dhul Qa'dah 1435 is around 900,014,88,222 pilgrims through the following ports: by airplane 877,000 to 25,653 through land, through the sea 11,583 pilgrims, which means a decrease of about 67,903 pilgrims for the arrivals and for the same reason last year, which is about 7%. The number of pilgrims coming, this is what we mentioned, but as for our next news, which will be after this short break, stay tuned.
Our dear viewers, welcome again, and the news of pilgrimage. So the pilgrimage for the local pilgrim starts with its first steps each year by looking for campaign officers for the pilgrimage and for looking for what is appropriate with them, whether for quality and prices altogether. But those campaigns and the authorized agencies with its different categories have already worked by proposing some characteristic to attract and aspect to attract pilgrims through guaranteeing for them different choices with different prices and aspects.
Different opinions are with people on the pilgrimage campaigns and the services they give to mu'tamirin and also pilgrims. Let us get into more details through this report. With the middle of Shawwal, the mission starts. People who want to go to pilgrimage go to the campaign offices, and in order to see the services that suit them in terms of quality and affordability at the same time. Once they make a choice on any campaign, the first step has begun. They pay the fees and they proceed with the papers and documents that are needed in order to get the license and to proceed with the following procedures. Of course, the beginning with the campaign offices is with the license or the allocation for the pilgrims. Usually this happens in Shawwal, usually every year, between 15 Shawwal and 20 Shawwal, 25 Shawwal, something like this. It is in this period of time that the pilgrim campaign starts. On the 7th of pilgrimage of Dhul Hijjah, the campaigns start by moving them to the campaigns located for them in the ritual sites. They provide for them transportation in order to move from one ritual site to another in order to perform the rituals in an easy way. And also it provides with them subsistence and medical health around the clock. It also provides with them the hosting for the guests and the scholars and the students, and provides them with several awareness-raising, useful sessions. It differs from one party to another, but most of the services that are provided are usually issuing the licenses, offering transportation, and transportation covers the transportation from Jeddah to Jeddah, inside the kingdom or inside the kingdom. It depends, of course, on the internal campaign offices. I'm talking about Jeddah because it takes people from Jeddah to ritual sites. It offers them transportation inside the site, and then in the 12th or 13th, after if they finish with the farewell circumambulation, they come back to Jeddah. I'm talking about transportation, of course. The 3 meals are offered: breakfast, lunch, and dinner. We have the open buffet and also the snacks during the day. Coffee, juice, tea, they are provided around the clock. In addition, there are cultural awareness and education sessions. Usually there is a mufti with the campaign. There will be supervisors for the transport means and also guides in each bus. There will be, of course, a female and male doctors. Now the last chapter finishes in the pilgrimage journey. After those pilgrims have finished their rituals and performed their pilgrimage in the correct way, the campaign ends its chapter with the pilgrims by returning them to the first assembly area that they started with. And here they end with that area. Hassan Rahmani for Iqra Satellite Channel from Jeddah.
So in the framework of pilgrimage campaign, so the Ministry of Pilgrimage has penalized 53 agency institutions who have violated the prices, the known prices for the season of pilgrimage last year. So there were 53 out of 203 agency, and they have been transferred to a reviewing committee. And the representative of the Ministry of Pilgrimage has also emphasized that the Ministries of Interior, Commerce, Industry, and Pilgrimage have realized from what they've controlled and seen that those penalties can be such that they stop working, they retrieve their authorization and permits, and also because the prices were exceeding what is known and authorized. So the ports of Mina, of Jeddah, so they are one of the known ports that are known and that receive pilgrims, and the prayer for pilgrimage start to receive.
So they receive the pilgrims, and there are the officers of the Department of Passports there in order to facilitate the entry of pilgrims in an expedient way. Our report now tells us about how pilgrims get into Jeddah through the Islamic Jeddah ports. The Department of Passports in Jeddah is one of the most important ports receiving the pilgrims to the kingdom. Every year, during this period, before the pilgrimage starts, the halls of Passports Department in Jeddah open its heart to receive the pilgrims coming by sea. The General Department of Passport, with all its staff who are very well trained, facilitate the entry of pilgrims in a very expedient way. In the name of God, the gracious, the merciful, the Department of Islamic Jeddah Passport serves the pilgrims coming to the kingdom by sea through the public general plan of the department, under the direct supervision of the head of this department by Sulaiman al-Yahya, in order to serve the pilgrims coming through Jeddah. We have our staff, they are very trained in order to serve the pilgrims. It has the capacity and the training in order to deal with the pilgrims who are coming by the sea. There are about 15 or 18,000 pilgrims coming by sea through the Jeddah Islamic seaport. We serve them through 30 terminals. Officers who are trained and capable and have the experts serve the pilgrims. There are 30 counters. Every counter has the computer and a fingerprint reader. It has also a camera with high resolution. We almost receive in Jeddah from 1,000 to 1,200 pilgrims by the sea every day. And there are some days Without pilgrims, usually we move to the second day, so it will be about 1,500 pilgrims some days, until about 18,000 pilgrims during the season. Just very few seconds separate the pilgrim between the counter and entering the portals in preparation to go to Mecca. For Iqra, Imad Fuad from Jeddah.
So the Ministry of Pilgrimage had determined the subject of pilgrimage in its seminar to organize the rituals of pilgrimage from some scientists, from the religious people inside the kingdom and outside the kingdom, so in Makkah Mukarramah. And the minister, Dr. Bandar of the Minister of Pilgrimage, has emphasized that this season and this meeting come to reinforce the ideas and the common underlying ground for the people here. And he has emphasized that the ministry, since 4 decades approximately, this year, so from
So it is in line with the Quranic verses, which says that those who glorify the signs of God and rituals of God. Our dearest brothers and sisters, the direct communication with the guests of God, the Merciful, is very necessary in order to understand their needs and to address those needs. For this purpose, the Ministry of Pilgrimage launched the free poll number in order to receive the calls from the pilgrims and Umrah people and visitors also from inside the country and from outside the country, so that they can ask for help or to get the inquiries or to send feedback or complaints. The calls are answered by trained staff with 5 languages for the first stage in the project. Our correspondent Hassan Rahmani once again has prepared the following reportage for this service. Peace be with you. The Customer Center for the Pilgrims and Mu'tamirin. The government of the custodian of true shrines is exerting lots of pressures, lots of efforts in order to serve the pilgrims in facilitating their pilgrimage. The Ministry of Pilgrimage comes at the head in these efforts. Since the communication and direct communication is very important for understanding the needs of the pilgrims, a new project has been launched. And this project is the Center for Communication with the Pilgrims and Mu'tamirin. This center is a connection point and liaise the pilgrims with those agencies concerned to provide all the aid to the pilgrims. The communication center is a free number, which is toll-free number, in order to receive the complaints or inquiries or everything from the pilgrims in terms of his needs. The number is 800-430-4444. I repeat, 800-430-4444. This center starts giving its services to the internal and pilgrims and other pilgrims coming to the kingdom once they arrive to the kingdom and until they leave. The pilgrim can ask for aid or can send his feedback or complaints through the toll-free number. It will be answered by trained staff who will receive the notifications in 5 languages for the first stage of the project. And the project aims at 11 languages. The pilgrim can reach this center from any site in the kingdom around the clock, 24 hours a day, 24/7, all over the year. We receive the communication and calls 24 hours. We have 3 shifts. As you can see, all our staff here are receiving the calls. And the project has started with the Dhul Qa'dah month, and we can consider it to be just the first stage in the project. We aim at future stages. We will work all over the year, either in the pilgrimage or Umrah periods. the calls of the customers are received by the customers, and then they are electronically diverted to the competent authorities. After sending the notification, the caller will receive a message, an SMS, with the time for processing his problem and the number of the complaint. How can I help you? Yes. The Center of Hajj and Umrah is one of the services launched by the Kingdom of Arabia Saudi this year in order to help the pilgrims. It is a unique and a quality service for the pilgrims of this year and for the years ahead, God willing. Hassan Rahmani for Iqra Satellite Channel from Jeddah.
So, dear viewers, life come back again in the rituals and in Mina in particular. So, this place, this shrine, has lots of efforts from different organizations, governmental organizations, with their activities, continued activities to receive pilgrims and to assure their comfort during the season. So our report exposes these events. So life come again in this place.
Life is revitalized in this area, and everybody is now busy with preparing the bride before her wedding. Mina ritual site is located about 6 kilometers east to the shrine, and it receives every year about 2 million pilgrims, spending more of their ritual times in this place. As the pilgrimage season is approaching now, all the agencies concerned have started to provide for the best services to the pilgrims in order to secure their comfort while they are performing their pilgrimage rituals. As you can see, preparedness is there 24 hours to receive the pilgrims. The pilgrim will come here, will be very psychologically comfortable and will be bodily comfortable as well. As you can see here, we're working 24 hours and we are doing the best job that we can do. We are in Mina, the ritual site here, and we are preparing for a restaurant in order to serve the pilgrims during the pilgrimage season. Hopefully before Tarwiyah Day, 7 days before Tarwiyah, we will be ready to serve the pilgrims. And we pray to God that He will allow us to serve them. The civil defense staff have also started to be ready in Mina in order to fight against any kind of problem if they find it, God forbid. Also, the traffic department has put its own strategy in place in order to protect the safety of pilgrims and also to facilitate their reach to the ritual sites. The same thing applies to the hospitals and medical centers who started their preparedness in 7 Shawwal. Work has started under the directives of His Excellency the Minister in order to be fully prepared in the hospitals and ritual sites and to provide for a strategy necessary for the provision of services on our part. So we started our work in Shawwal 17th, 1435 Hijri. The engineers started their work in maintenance, in the provision of projects, in their vision, and we planned everything and we submitted that to the medical departments, and they have worked in cooperation with us in order to reduce the obstacles. They work around the clock without any pain, and they are waiting for this time that they can prepare for this bride before her wedding in the 8th of pilgrimage. Abdullah Hamid for Iqra Satellite Channel.
So after this report, dear viewers, saw a paragraph from the Haramain Sharifain to expose the later services that were provided. So we are going to follow this with you after this short break. Dear viewers, welcome back again. So it is an habit each year in the season of pilgrimage, and the inferior part of the dress that covers the Kaaba will be elevated, and will be also covered with white tissue about 2 meters. So you will see the following report about that.
God is greater. The Kaaba. It is God's house and it is the Qibla and the direction for all Muslims. God made it as a minaret of unification of God. It is the first house that was placed on earth to worship God. There is a habit every year and it follows a specific plan for 1435 Hijri. The lower part of the dress of the Kaaba was elevated at least at about 3 meters, and a white cotton cloth was made on the 4 parts and sides of the Kaaba. Afterwards, the metal pillars are removed and then they are put again after the end of the pilgrimage season. The time, it takes about 2 hours and a half, made by 19 sewers from the Mecca textile factory by using the textile and the silk. This procedure comes as a precaution to prevent people from tampering with the clothes of the Kaaba. And also, despite that there are misconceptions about the cloth of the Kaaba, is that it is damaged by that. But some pilgrims try to cut some parts of the Kaaba clothes, and some people seek blessings in the clothes of the Kaaba, which is wrong, and for that reason it's elevated to about over than 3 meters high, and they put a cover of white cotton every year for that reason. For Iqra satellite channel, Ayman Sharif from Mecca.
And from Makkah Mukarrama to Medina to the Prophet, peace be upon him, so that the services about Suqya will be continued for the issues related to the Masjid Nabawi and concerning the Suqya of the pilgrims and the city of Muhammad, peace be upon him. So this service, this historical service, and which is interesting, particularly interesting, in the Medina Munawwara and the way in which the service is being distributed. So you will see a report about it to highlight this service, this holy service, sacred one, so and a link between history and the present.
God is greater. God is greater. Suqya, the drinking water, is one of the services in Al-Medina Al-Munawwara. It is a source of pride for those people living in these blessed lands, because it is a doing of good deeds for those people who are visiting the Medina, either pilgrims or Umrah people. Suqya is bringing the drinking water for pilgrims and providing them with this drinking water. It dates back to the days of Prophet Muhammad, peace be with him, and with the days also of his successor, by bringing water from the wells of Medina through the bottles and other types of pots. There was also a spring that was made in Qiba. It's called the Blue Well, which is called Dubu, close to Al-Ghamama Mosque, closer to the Prophet's Mosque. In 1415 Hajri, Bin Laden company is in charge of managing the Suqya. A Suqya is affiliated with the Department of the Affairs of the Prophets mosque, it conveys the Zamzam well water to Medina, which is about 200 tons a day. The Suqya department, which affiliates to the affairs management of the Prophet's mosque, serves the pilgrims with more than 200 tons of cold water for the female and male pilgrims in the mosque. Abdurrahman Al-Arousi for Iqra Satellite Channel, Medina Munawwara.
So the Minister of Pilgrimage, Dr. Bandar bin Mohammed Hajjar, has adopted a plan concerning the states in Africa which are not Arab states, concerning the pilgrimage of 1435 Hijri year. And they are about 170,000 pilgrims. And the plan has showed that there were more than 5,000 work opportunities for the youth in Saudi Arabia, those who are qualified to work and to market also, and to establish a committee for women to provide services for the pilgrims as well within the plan this year. And the services also has comprised 40 offices as well, also to broadcast some announcement and about the work and the services provided by some sectors, and to control and to follow up the services provided, the quality of the services. So in a step, dear viewers, in a step which is considered the first in its style, in its category, concerning the development of the network, of the communication network, so the digital communication network, the modern ones, they have been introduced in the public service, and the Deputy of the Ministry of the Pilgrimage has emphasized that this network is comprised a complete organization, from different sides, and from 16 constituted from 16 organization, also to determine the sites which are distributed in the places of the pilgrims in the kingdom and in Medina Munawwara, and also in the shrines. So 3,000 communication machine has been put into service in the kingdom, and until the pilgrims leave the spaces. So the Aqsa Mosque and the Haram Mosque were connected as two sacred places for Muslim people from the period of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and those are sacred places and to which people always are directed. And the servant of the Haramain al-Sharifain, the King bin Abdul Aziz, may Allah protect him, also want to protect those rights in Palestine, and he has a message to serve Muslims and Islam in the sacred Muslim places. So in this report you will see more about those services.
Praise be to God, who sent on a mighty journey of his servant from the Masjid Haram to the Aqsa Mosque. It is a Quranic connection between Jerusalem and Mecca. The Mecca Mosque, it is the first ancient house for the Qibla of Muslims until the Day of Judgment. The Aqsa Mosque is the second shrine of mosques that's put on earth and the first Qibla for Muslims. It is also one of the mosques to which people go on journeys as the Mecca. As far as we are concerned, in Palestine, our hearts are connected to Mecca as it is connected to the Aqsa Mosque in Jerusalem. Every day we pray to God not to deprive us from seeing pilgrimage at Mecca. I could hardly wait for that day on which I go to Kaaba and see there and pray also in Qiba. The disasters made by the assault of the Israelis on the Palestinians raised the problems, financial problems of Gaza people in going on pilgrimage. They are now in poverty and impoverishment. A person like me would deprive myself of food in order to go to pilgrimage, but the financial situation is very bad, and the majority of people are unemployed. How could they get the money to go to pilgrimage? The problem is that you register your name for this year and the next year and 10 years, and you do not have your name as in location. The honoration of the made by the custodian of the two shrines has come in order to heal the wounds of those people in Palestine, in Gaza. 1,000 female and male pilgrims from the families of the martyrs benefited from the honoration that was in place for many years. There is a kind of respect for the Palestinian pilgrims that we can see from the Saudi Arabia, and this emphasizes the humanitarian assistance by Saudi Arabia to Palestine. But there is something very unique here that we differs for us. It is that the custodian of the shrines in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia gives a special honoration to Palestinians at his own expense for the martyrs of the families, for the pilgrims of the martyrs. And he hosts them at his own expense to the best hotels and give them everything needed, subsistence, accommodation, transportation, and the ritual sites at his own expense. It is something very unique. It is something of very much commendable and lovable by the Palestinians, and it really mirrors how the custodian of the two shrines is interested for that. I've been registered for 10 years and waited for 10 years. I could hardly wait with hope to have my name displayed and agreed for that pilgrimage. But today we thank God that we got this honoration from the kingdom. I thank the King of Saudi Arabia, this custodian of two shrines, for fulfilling my dream. The pilgrims benefited from this honoration are now praising to God for the King of humanitarianism. God protect him as a supporter for those in Palestine, here in Palestine. For all the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and for the custodian of two shrines, all the love is there. It is for the offering that is made by the King of Saudi Arabia, because people here feel that there is somebody to heal their wounds. This pilgrimage, I am now performing it for my son, the martyr, and I will pray and supplicate to God for all the martyrs to be closer to God. When we go there, we will pray, inshallah, God willing, we will pray to God all the good things for the custodian of the two shrines, and we ask him kindly to increase the numbers. He is the king of the hearts. He has his white hands with offerings to the Palestinians. It is a purely humanitarian message with all the love between the two countries of the two shrines. We pray to God that their offerings will be in the good deeds in the life hereafter and to be on the correct path.
So we ask Allah that He accelerates the reducing of the pain of our brothers in Palestine and support them in their. And He knows, and we know that we here know that we have brothers that we like them, and may Allah help them and protect them. So, in our last news, dear viewers, so the General Director of the Health question concerning the health issues in Makkah Mukarramah, so has launched a seminar concerning disseminating some knowledge about pilgrimage also in this sacred capital. So our viewers, so this seminar will be continued during 2 days, a couple of days, and target raising some awareness within pilgrims, among the pilgrims, concerning the season, and to facilitate their stay period here. And we'll discuss different aspects. So this was our last news, dear viewers, and this was the main thing from our news today concerning pilgrims. And tomorrow we'll have another meeting, inshallah, with different news. So we say goodbye to you and for tomorrow.